I cannot take the gather step thing. It ruined the NBA for me. Like, the gather step is such bullshit. Like, you're learning as a little kid about a layup, how many steps you can take, right? Now if you time it so that you catch the ball on the gather step, the reason the scores are so high is because guys can pick up the ball and just run down the court with it.
Well, I don't know about that.
Lacrosse?
Now, wait a minute. Nobody's getting up and running down the court.
Basically, they are. I've seen dudes take it started with Chris Paul, used to get those little extra steps around the corner when he went around the corner on a guy.
The gather is broken. Not kind of broken. Not rules or subjective broken. But most definitely, unapologetically broken. And the wildest part, you know it, and I know it. But apparently, we're the idiots.
No, that's one. That's two. Jumping off his left leg. That's a good move. He running with the ball all the way. Then I'm gonna just dribble again. I'm gonna start doing like that. You could just run just like this. When they think you have control of the ball, it's 2 steps after that.
NBA rules that players can continue to take steps as the ball is spinning in their hands because the dribble has not been discontinued.
Oh, okay, so I guess we're just making stuff up then. Cool. Also, Christmas is over, which means the tree is gone. Aww. But the Christmas spirit, that lives forever. Mariah, hit it. All right, enough joy. The problem with the gather step isn't the gray area. It's people confidently pretending the rulebook says things it literally doesn't.
To take steps as the ball is spinning in their hands.
I know the NBA plays fast and loose with enforcement, but don't gaslight me like I don't know what a gather step is. So today, me, you, and the legally distinct Mariah Carey, we're gonna unbreak the gather step again. Now, I don't want to be labeled one of those cranky old guys talking about back in my day, because I'm okay with a little bit of gray area, the hand on the side of the ball or the pocket dribble, as the kids are calling it. And honestly, I'm okay with exaggerated gather steps too. But I absolutely do not like the gaslighting people online do, acting like they learned some new secret rule that all of us casual fans just can't seem to understand. Basically, the NBA is doing its best whose line is it anyways impression.
Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Whatever happened to that show? The whole idea behind the gather step was to help define the moment when a player picked up the ball, which then became a skill that players practiced to execute different types of pickups. Unfortunately, right now, we're seeing less of the skill and more of who is just better at exploiting the rulebook. Oh, sorry. Those are clips for a future video. Awkward. But bear with me here for a second, as I think this will change the way you look at a gather step from now on. This is the ship of Theseus. It's a philosophical thought experiment that tries to identify when an object with constant moving and changing parts is no longer the original object. So if you take a boat and replace one of its planks, is it still the same boat? Probably so. Now let's do that with another plank, and another one, and another, and so on. At what point is the boat no longer the original boat? Even once every single part is replaced by a new part, would you still consider it the same boat? We would likely agree that these boats are somehow fundamentally different, but at what exact point do they change? Now, let's apply the ship of Theseus example to this weird Giannis gather thing. If we advance this frame by frame, when does it actually become the gather? This play right here is the sole reason I had to make another video on the gather step, and is also the perfect encapsulation of literally everything wrong with the gather discourse. So, just as our ship example asks, what precise moment does the old boat become the new boat? And when does the gather become a travel? Unfortunately, online, this conversation is devoid of all nuance and context, which is weird because usually people are so charitable and non-confrontational online.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really.
The basketball purist saying,
"Yes, my good sir, 'tis certainly a travel."
And the gather step cult hive mind, Actually, it's not a travel. Your opinion is irrelevant. You're a filthy casual. I, however, believe there's a middle ground here. I think we can all agree the rules leave a lot up to interpretation. If we look back at the Giannis example, there is a point in time where Giannis has controlled the ball enough to constitute the end of his dribble. The problem is everyone picks and chooses when to apply these rules and how strict we should be. Is the gather defined by control, hand position, or contact? And who decides which one matters? But Mr. Coach Midrange, why don't you just show us some of the things you're always complaining about rather than just talk about them? Challenge accepted. But to do that, I'm going to need a little help from today's sponsor. All right, before we keep arguing about what is and isn't a gather step, I want to introduce you to today's sponsor, the IGL Travel Hoop. This thing is the world's first foldable, luggage-style basketball hoop, and it's honestly perfect if you train solo or don't have access to a full court. No tools, no installation. Honestly, it took me like 5 minutes or less to set this thing up. When they said they were sending me one of these, I really had no idea what to think, but I'll be honest, this is a product I can't recommend enough for parents that are serious about your little ones having a place to play anytime, anywhere. As you can see, I've got mine set up in the garage because it is a literal snowstorm outside. Backyard, driveway, garage, apartment complex, park, you can literally take it anywhere. It folds up to 3 different heights, stores easily, and is stable enough to actually get real reps in. I've been using it to film drills, work on footwork, and break down exactly when a gather should start, which you'll see in a second. So if you're a hooper, a parent with kids, or someone who just wants to get shots up without hunting for a court, the IGL Travel Hoop makes that easy. Big thanks to them for supporting the channel. Now let's get to the garage and break some rules.
To take step as the ball is spinning in their hands.
Basically, I presented to you the ship of Theseus in the gather/travel form. You can find countless examples of many of these happening multiple times per game, and also various internet personalities calling you dumb for thinking that the NBA needs to clean it up, which brings us to some cultural changes that need to happen immediately. If you're like me and constantly bombarded with these reels and tic-tacs, and you feel like you want to share your observations or delve into constructive conversation, buckle up, because that ain't happening. The gather step hive mind cult has 3 built-in arguments that, frankly, they're undefeated, and they won't rest until you become one of them. All right, guys. Yeah, while I'm editing this, I kid you not, I received some notifications because I commented on MDW's latest video. Lo and behold, me and Micah Lancaster brought up the same point. So really, I'll probably put some of these conversations up on the screen, but basically go read through the comments of MDW's videos. I basically just want to say all the arguments that I'm about to bring up in this very video that you're watching, it's the exact playbook of how this played out, and I couldn't believe it, so I just wanted to drop this part in there. Basically, these people online, they're deeply unserious. Yeah, it's not about pushing the conversation forward. It's not about making things more clear and concise. It's rage baiting, and it's for clicks and views. That's it. Anyways, back to the video. the in real time argument, or the it's impossible to know crowd. This group of people will tell you that it's just impossible to be able to call travels in real time because the game just happens so fast. It's literally impossible to know, so it basically just doesn't even matter. I think this is a boring argument. Like, can you just imagine we use this literally any other time in life? Your Honor, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Wait, what? He shot 3 people. Right, but the bullets were moving so fast, it's just impossible to know. We have it on video. We can slow it down. He shot 3 people. Right, Your Honor, but in real time.
Brilliant. Bravo.
Oh, he makes a really good point, now that you mention it. Argument number 2. It's legal in the NBA and FIBA. Just because the rule books are worded similarly doesn't mean that what you see in the NBA is going to be allowed in FIBA basketball. Leagues outside of the NBA all typically enforce the travel and the gather rules far more strictly. I personally had to change my go-to moves from college whenever I went overseas and played basketball professionally to basically completely different footwork. My jab throwdown and my spin move were basically called travels every single time. You can imagine my frustration when I realized my go-to move and the counter were pretty much automatic travels. This kind of highlights how subjective the NBA's enforcement has become. Argument number 3, it's the appeal to authority, or I spoke to an NBA ref who said it's legal, so it has to be legal. Oh, sick. You spoke to a referee who said it wasn't a travel? Well, I spoke to a referee who said it was a travel. So here we are. Guess we're at a standstill. You're basically saying that your dad can beat up my dad if our dads were referees, and if they had a reason to fight. And if you ever see someone using this argument to try and sway you in the conversation, you might as well just back off, because they already drank the Kool-Aid. And lastly is just the moving of the goalposts. Anytime you begin to have the conversation and try and make very specific points, people online will say things like, the gather step has always been allowed. And while that's true, the act of the gather step was never as convoluted as it is today. Rather than just one gather step, now we're typically seeing multiple gather steps, which I believe is the differing factor. Then if you nail them down on that point, they'll try and call you a casual and that you don't understand the rule and have no idea what you're talking about. Brother, your profile picture is an anime waifu and you have 3 followers. We are not the same. I have a Ninja Turtle profile pic. I think we need to just start changing the whole online gather narrative. Anytime you see people arguing like this and having these conversations, I think we just hashtag unbreak the gather or something like that. You're not getting through to these people. Maybe if we start something like that, bringing awareness to this video, or Thinking Basketball, I think, has done a video on the gather. We can actually educate people and hopefully move the conversation forward, holding the NBA accountable, and whoever else needs to hear this. Which brings us to why should we even care in the first place? I personally think skill and footwork should be rewarded. We've seen the evolution of the Manu Ginobili Euro step basically becoming one of Dwayne Wade's signature moves while evolving all legally. But to go from similar footwork as Manu and Wade to this weird low pickup thing that people are doing nowadays, which is completely illegal, by the way, loses the essence of what made those moves impressive in the first place. Similar to Allen Iverson floating the ball in his hand with a slight hang dribble, which turned into Chris Paul manipulating the basketball bars to have an advantage over defenders. But now we're in this weird pocket dribble pandemic where people are teaching you to just halt the ball's momentum completely. That's literally the exact opposite of dribbling the basketball. I mean, you're just holding the basketball at that point. This video is supposed to just hopefully impact some sort of cultural change and the way that we engage with this gather step buffoonery. The NBA is constantly making changes to rules, but it seems like the very last thing to go into those considerations always is the actual integrity of the game. We need to hold the NBA accountable, and also content creators, for constantly rage baiting fans into thinking this is an elite skill and not a problem that needs to be addressed. That doesn't mean we need to go video name calling or brigading these content creators, but instead having conversations and stating your opinion clearly, and I don't know, go back to the hashtag #UnbreakTheGather if need be. The key takeaway is this: this debate isn't about being against new or creative moves. It's about the danger of losing fundamental dribbling skills and footwork that form the foundation of basketball. Many people will tell you that skill and technique have been evolving over the years, but I would argue we're in serious danger of actually regressing with the current state of the game. Once we started to glorify every single loophole to move the ball up the court was the precise moment that the integrity of the game and skill became broken. I want to thank you all for watching this video. A huge shout out to our YouTube members across the 3 channels and our Patreon members, of course. Obviously, King Butch, you have my eternal gratitude, and to the sponsor of today's video as well. Also, did you hear about how American superstars are negatively impacting today's game? If you haven't, you should check out this video.